All right. Enough teasing this.
Here we go.
Okay. Donald J. Trump.
Yes.
Is he the second coming of Christ?
No.
A lot of people say he is.
A lot of people would be wrong. He is not part of heavens. No. And if you see and do you know his character?
I saw him do it.
No.
Yeah,
no, and no. No, he is not the second coming of Christ.
All right, what's the deal?
What do you mean, what's the deal?
Why are you trying to destroy my religion right now?
I'm trying to set you free with the truth, brother.
I'm trying to set you free with the truth. Okay, so what's going on?
I absolutely know he's not the second coming of Christ.
Okay.
Because of morality alone. I don't need to hear anything else.
None of it's proven.
Morality alone and the way he treats people. That's all I need to see and know, and to know that he's not the second coming of Christ.
All right, what's going on?
Okay. What do you mean, like, what's going on? Like,
why is he Jesus to people?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
The Christian right. This is what we're talking about.
We're talking about the Christian right.
He's their guy.
He is.
He is the guy.
He is. To so many, he is.
Okay.
Yeah, so many, he is.
So, yes, go.
Why? Okay. All right. So, man, this is so layered. Here's the thing. I think that Trump's strength, which can also be a weakness, but his strength is he'll say whatever.
Okay.
And say it boldly and say it loudly.
Okay.
And repeat it. And doesn't seem to care who likes it or doesn't like it.
Okay.
Okay.
Very similar to Jesus. Keep going.
God almighty. I don't know if I'm going to make it through this one or not. I'm going to lose it. All right. So, and I think what happened was after all of the years of Obama and the religious right, or Christians feeling like they're losing more and more space in the country, losing more and more sway, influence in the country.
Okay.
And they're seeing morality around them, kind of what they would deem morality around them decaying. Here comes someone who begins to say, I mean, a few different things. One, he becomes vocally very supportive of Christians and their religion, their right to religious freedoms. And so to the point where he gathers up a large, like many big name pastors.
Right.
And have them come and, you know, there's you see probably the picture of like this group gathered around him and they're laying hands on him and praying for him. And so he even talks about how this group, that members of this group that's there will become like a counsel to him while he's in office, if he gets into office. Okay. So there's that part. So he's becoming very popular among Christians.
How many of them were there?
Oh man. In that group that's there?
Was there...
Are you saying, are there 12?
Was there 12 of them?
I can't with you today. I just can't. All right. So, all right. So he's becoming openly like that he is for the Christians.
Yep.
Same thing Reagan did. I will be for you. Okay. And so he's doing this. He's copying that plan. I'll be for you.
So
okay?
Everyone thought Reagan was the real second coming until Trump came along.
No, I don't think even Reagan got what Trump's getting now.
Okay.
Yeah. As much as Reagan was absolutely admired and respected among the right. And so you got so he's kind of copying some from Reagan's playbook.
Right.
all right, I'm going to be vocally, openly supporting Christians and evangelicals in particular. And the pastors he's gathering around him are evangelical Christians. Okay. So he's galvanizing the evangelical vote again. Okay. Which he knew that there had been an uproar amongst them during the Obama administration.
Right.
And so it was much easier to bring them all together. Okay. And then he was stating that he was going to uphold their social wants.
Okay.
And so like, hey, I'm going to, outlaw, abortion. I'm going to ensure that, when a couple of Supreme Court justices need to be replaced, they will be replaced with your people, with conservatives.
He did that. And
he did.
Mm-hmm.
And so, so going into 2016 in the election there for this, he is making these promises, and and then ultimately he does fulfill a lot of them. And so the Supreme Court justices, but then he also was, similar to Reagan and Reagan's famous line, "It's the economy, stupid."
Right.
Like he was talking about, hey, we're going to recover this economy. We're going to move, we're going to
prosperity politics
to go along with prosperity gospel, I guess. But we are unashamedly, we're capitalists. We are going to build the economy back up again. We're going to bring
work hard,
jobs.
get rich.
Yeah. We're going to bring jobs back here. Okay. We're going to make it harder for companies to go overseas and be more profitable. Like all those kind of things. Right. We're going to give tax breaks to these companies so they can hire people, And so there was the economy factor as well. That doesn't have to do anything socially religious or religious at all, but it was all part of the package. And I think that and then, of course, the one part that he did do was that he said he was going to do was the idea of standing up against corruption in the government, that kind of thing. And so I think all of these things together galvanized the religious right around him.
Okay.
And so from just a strictly evangelical side, I think the idea of an individual coming in, fighting for their social platforms, speaking up on their behalf, and saying, hey, I'm going to right the economy, not just for you, but for your future generations, was enough to bring them all together. And then on top of that, then you've got the charismatic circle, which is for people who don't know, it's a pretty large group in America now. So you've got the charismatic circle. And in this charismatic circle, you've got individuals that are beginning to, quote unquote, prophesy about Trump and Trump's election.
Yes.
And that Trump will be elected, that he is God's chosen instrument. And so they refer to him as like the second coming, maybe not of Christ, but of Cyrus, who was who came in from Persia and ended up setting free the Jews to return home. And it was this sense.
I've not heard this one.
Yeah. And it was this sense of, here's this man who's been anointed by the Spirit of God and chosen by God himself to basically, quote unquote, set Christians free, but also move our country back toward what Christians would want the country to be moved back to. Okay. And so he's galvanized the conservative right-wing group, okay, Christian right group, and all of these charismatics, which now is getting broader than just the staple white, religious right. It's bigger than that. And so,
okay, so why are all these people wrong?
Okay,
about that,
right? All right. So here's what happens. So Trump goes into office.
Yeah.
Right. And he does what he says he's going to do in regards to the Supreme Court justices. Right. He does what he said he's going to do in regards to abortion. Like, you just trek with it and Man kept doing things,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so, and the economy goes up,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so, and the reality is, I mean, he was faced, like, more than likely he was going to win again if it had not been for COVID.
Yeah, the plague that the devil sent.
Yeah. So Trump had all of this support, okay? And so the religious right weren't wrong in voting for him. Okay?
Okay.
They weren't right. They weren't wrong in believing for him to come into office and do the things that he said he was going to do. Like, none of those things were wrong. Okay? The charismatics who heard all these prophecies from their big name prophets about Trump coming in and and it happened. So there's even further buy-in, right? At this point.
That he's Jesus.
No, but that he's God's anointed one.
Okay.
And I think for me, and I'm coming as a charismatic, this is my camp,
Yeah.
right? And so what I was inundated with was not just that he was the person to vote for based upon these issues.
Based upon the things that he did good.
Right.
Or that he said he
Right.
was going to do good.
Right. So for example, going into the 2020
Mm-hmm.
and the election, in 20, I think that things shifted to not just that he did these things, we should vote for him again because he did these things, but even during some of his first term, but especially going into 20, it was like you could not speak a negative word about Trump or you were going against God.
Because he's God.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, the allegiance, it was almost like a worship of him,
Mm-hmm.
And so like now all of a sudden, like, it's like, I wanted to be able to stand up and say, for me personally, I'm thankful for what Trump did in these areas.
Yes. Because they were good for Christians.
Because they were good. And I see, like for the abortion issue, I think that's just good for life, like for everybody,
Mhm.
right? And so I think that's a good thing. Like the economy coming stronger, focusing on the United States, for me, that's a good thing.
Right.
And so like all of those things, like I'm going that these are positive things. But I wanted to be able to say those things and at the same time be able to hold criticisms.
Okay.
Okay. And it was like, man, if you uttered one criticism, you were going against the Lord's chosen one, his anointed one, and people go out of their way to defend him.
So why do they think he's anointed? Like it's
yeah.
one thing to say, hey, we like what he said he was going to do, and then he
Sure.
got into office and actually did it.
Right.
Which most of the presidents never do.
Correct.
But why is he now God's anointed
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah. And I can't speak for all Christian circles,
Mhm.
just in the circles I ran, that I run in, like, yeah, I mean, that's the way he's treated. And I think a lot of it goes back to that gathering of those pastors. A lot of them were charismatic pastors.
Okay.
And that really believed,
So they actually went and anointed him.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. They prayed over him. Yeah.
Did
Like
they put oil on him and do all that crap?
probably.
Okay.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Okay.
And so I think because you had that group's high recommendation of who Trump was,
Mm-hmm.
plus the prophets prophesying about Trump being chosen by God for this time. And like, so for example, I can so distinctly remember at a prayer meeting the day after Trump is elected president,
Mm-hmm.
the facilitator of that prayer meeting saying, we're going to pass the mic around so everyone can say a prayer of praise that Trump is now our president because he's God's chosen man. And so they literally wanted every person in the room to do that. And I remember going up to the leader of this meeting and I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I can't do it. Like, I'm not going to sit here and talk about how great the man is and just praise him as if he is the second coming. I can't do it. Now, am I grateful for some of the things he did? Yes. But I don't want to sit here and like glorify him as if he's a deity or a prophet of God or like the man of God. Like that's like taking a step too far for me.
Well,
And
okay, so where, I guess where's too far?
Yeah.
Like, could he have been chosen by God?
Absolutely. Like, I don't doubt the fact that he was chosen by God in the sense of being set in as president. Okay? Because I think all government leaders are chosen by God.
Because they are.
Yeah, because they are.
Okay.
And so like for me, that's not even the issue.
Because God wrote all the whole
because
universe.
In Romans 13, we're told that we submit to our leaders who God has placed in power.
Oh.
That's not even the issue for me.
Okay.
The issue is elevating him to be more than he's not. Right? So, for example, I'm not going to elevate Trump, for example, to be more than just he was the one God chose to be the president of the United States in 2020. Great. I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, and by the way, he's God's prophet.
Okay.
Right? Or, that's to me taking it too far. Or I think the biggest thing, Nate, is that for me, it was just that any criticism, like you couldn't criticize that man at all without people just losing their minds.
Because there's nothing to criticism for.
Yeah, he's just perfect. I mean, he's just absolutely perfect.
Heaven sent.
I mean, man, look at the way he treats people and interacts with people. Perfect. Yeah, and that's, his moral history, perfect, right?
I mean, he's him, so it must have been.
But so he's not the second coming. He's not morally perfect. He's not a role model for people. And I think for me, that became the issue. And I guess it was like the cult of Trump. That's what it developed into. And the sense of like, again, the man could do no wrong. So
still vote for him, but just calm down.
Just call him what?
Calm down.
And calm down. Yeah. Okay, if you're going to vote for him. But don't be blind or naive to the fact that he has shortcomings. That he's not perfect. That it's okay to actually criticize him. Like there in some circles I've run it, like you couldn't even utter a criticism.
What would they do?
Oh, they would lose their minds.
Tar and feather?
Well, they would just be like basically
take you out
like
and stone you.
Yeah, no. Like but basically like no, but he's like basically how dare you criticize the prophet of God, the man of God, God's chosen anointed one, or well, he's all changed now. He's a Christian now, everything, And I'm like,
Do you think he's even a Christian?
Do I think that?
Yeah.
I would be really hard pressed to believe that he is.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd be really hard pressed to believe that he is.
I mean, I think he believes in himself.
I agree with you. I think he believes in himself.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. The people that have gone all the way. Why are they there? The people who have gone all the way and thinking Trump is
like the next
is Jesus,
right?
Basically,
well, yeah.
I mean,
they're not believing he's Jesus.
Yeah, but like gonna sit next to Jesus when we get to heaven. The people who are there, why? Because of everything, or what is going on with those people though? Like, why do they need someone like Trump to be?
Man, I don't know, Nate.
Okay.
I just feel like
how does that even happen?
Yeah, I feel like some of them have just been brainwashed by leaders, religious leaders.
Okay.
In the sense of like, this is how the religious leader feels about them, so I'm going to as well.
What are these religious leaders who are brainwashing these people? what do they get for
out
it?
Out of it.
Out of it.
You know,
or the prophets that keep.
Yeah, I think they're wanting recognition.
Okay.
I think some of the pastors that were gathered were just caught up in the kind of the notoriety and the influence they felt like they now could have in the political sphere.
Okay.
Which they had never been able to have before. So I think there's a lot of just manly, earthly trappings that people fell into, and then they began to just propagate those things. I mean, and you saw it, like the worst of it was when Trump lost the election.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had all of these same pastors and prophets declaring, that, Trump was going, like the election results were going to be overturned in 3 months. That was like the big phrase.
Yeah.
Just give it 3 months. It'll all come to light and everything be overturned.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was 6 months, and so it's just like you've lost all credibility. Like you've lost credibility as a pastor. You've lost credibility as a prophet. Now, some of the prophets did come out and repent and, hey, we missed it. We got it wrong. The ones that are respected the most, came out the day after the election and were like, I missed it. I blew it. I got it wrong. Cool. And then you still had some that were just hanging on, as if something was going to change. And it just...
So YouTube views.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's part of it too. Yeah. It just, I don't know, man. It just, the whole just synchronism between Christians and what's going on with Trump, it breaks my heart. It saddens me and it drives me crazy all simultaneously.